Today in ReaShack, we take a look at the Retevis RB17P GMRS radios. This radio was sent to us by our friends at Retevis. They sent us a pair of these radios, and we're going to take a look and see how they do, what they're capable of, and probably why you should take a deeper look at them. Coming up. Alright, let's start by looking at the user manual. And there is this is a PDF of the user manual. Show you a nice picture of the radio in front, and then they tell you refer to the website, or I'll go to the direct reseller as well. So, standard table of contents. Okay, unpack and check the device. So, antenna, quantity 1, but I'll tell you why that's a moot point. The antenna they gave you actually is riveted onto the unit. You can't take it out. The sling is like a little strap, belt clip, the charger, which is the cradle, battery, and the manual. So you can charge a battery, you put the radio in a cradle, or you put the battery in a cradle, and it will be red when it's charging, and then when it's full, it's green. Here they show you the block diagram, well, not block diagram, the various features of the radio. You have the PTT button, a programmable side button, which is interesting, antenna, alarm button, which kind of is useless, but could be, power volume switch. Note that this switch on the top is not to change channels. You do that exclusively from the front panel with the buttons up and down. And then you have the confirm button, the OK button. You have a back button, and you have a menu button. On the side, you have a mic and speaker jack. I believe this is the same wiring as Kenwood. And battery pack. Okay. And then they give you an overview of the functions. I mean, most of these are standard things. PTT, side button, receive antenna. The alarm button, you press it and activate the alarm. It will basically just play a siren and nothing else will work. It'll go for 20 seconds and then 10 seconds stop and then repeat again. You press the PTT to exit. The speaker is nice and clear actually. The menu button, you press in the menu setting, and then the up button and confirm down. Okay. All right. So the LCD display here, they show you here the basics of the LCD display, where you have the frequency readout, and then you have the channel on the side, and then you have various little icons like you have save mode, ketone, battery status, CTCSS, and DCS. You know, basically your tone squelch or digitally coded squelch. Whether you're operating narrowband, whether you're operating compounding function, the A band, not A band, but the A band working frequency, the channel number, high power, and MAZN. I thought that meant main, but current working channel. So where you see this MAZN, it says current. It's the current working channel you're actually using right now. NOAA, because this has programmable weather radio built in to listen. And then menu A and B band switch. So these are basically the functions of the keys here on the side. Okay. So basic operation, you turn the power volume switch. Power off, you turn it off again, adjust the volume, fairly simple. Menu, you press the one with the 3 lines, and then you press the up and down to change, and then okay. Battery, fully charged. When you activate the NOAA function, the squelch is also turned on. The state will be maintained for 300 seconds to return back to channel mode. In NOA working mode, the radio can't receive and transmit the signal. When the NOA watch function is enabled in both NOA and channel mode, you need to receive the 1050 Hz signaling to enable the NOAA reception. Otherwise, you can't switch to NOA mode. Okay, so this looks like this. When things tone out, you will you'll be able to switch to NOA mode. 1050 Hz, it will switch to receiving state after beep beep tone. Okay. All right. You can do the squelch, of course. Squelch is fairly straightforward. CTC, CSS, DCS. decode and encode, switch to working channel, power saving mode, and a bunch of other little descriptions here. Now, in these radios, they, by the way, they tell you different CTCSS functions here, meaning that you set the tone for different tone squelch configure frequencies. You have 67 hertz, and all the standard ones are here, right? 13 up from 67 all the way up to 254. Although I've never really heard anybody use one higher than like 156.7. I really don't hear anybody using this. And then you have the digital coded squelch here, and you have these tables here. The interesting thing is that the radio comes pre-programmed with these frequencies, right? Channels 1 through 30, and these are actually programmed in with these GMRS frequencies. So you see them here, receive and transmit. These are simplex frequencies here, right? Receive and transmit on those. And I do not see them having anything programmed for repeaters by default. And you notice some of these are high and low channel. And then they have the CTCSS programmed in by default, although I suppose you can change it. And then they give you an RF energy exposure and product safety guide. You know, I have a video on that. If you haven't watched it already, it's good. Watch it. And FCC, CE, restriction, blah, 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 disposal. Yeah, like when you're done with this radio, you're just going to not toss it in a trash can. And all sorts of good stuff. All right. Oh, long transmission. When the transceiver is used for a long transmission, the radiator and chassis will become hot. Right. Okay. That's, yeah. So this will become hot in your hand if you key it down for more than a couple minutes. Now, of course, don't use it in wet environments. Don't disassemble the charger. And contact Retevis. And you get a warranty. And nice instructions in Chinese. Okay. On to the radio. All right, first things first, the most important part of every review is we pull off the plastic. Okay, plastic's gone. And next, we take a quick look at the physical dimensions of the radio and some other physical characteristics. So here you have the nice colored screen, you have the speaker, you have the front panel buttons, you have the OK, you have the menu, you have the back button, you have the up and down. On the side, you have earphone and the speaker, and you have the RB17P. On the left side, you have the push talk button. You have a programmable function key. On the back side, you have a belt clip, which comes detached, right? Like, comes detached, and you can just attach it back. Click. You have a removable battery at the bottom here. So at the bottom, there is a button. You just press down this here, pull it back, and then take it out. And this battery is a, let's see, it is a lithium ion battery, voltage 7.4 volts, 2200 milliamp hours. So, yeah, okay. So it's one of those, okay? So we put that in. Here, of course, every radio needs to charge. They give you this little charging cradle. You can then drop it in. And then it charges, just like that. It's a little difficult, sorry. Yeah, just like that. Okay. See? I don't know if I like this arrangement. Some of these radios have like USB-C ports on the side where you can plug in with a USB-C or USB, micro USB, and charge it up. Even my ICOM 705 now can charge via USB. But this really, you know, this probably, I guess, the drop-in charger, you can get a spare battery and then put it in. Battery's old. Strange to come out here. For that, you can put it in. And then the other end of this plug is a USB. That's a regular USB-A that you can plug into any USB charger. So those bricks that you have with your phone that you got with your phone. Apple doesn't include them anymore. Or I would really recommend a multi-charger such as a Anker PowerPort 10. They're really convenient. I have links in the description below where you can buy one. Okay. All right, so this one, let's turn it on. And let's see the other one here. Turn it on. Takes a few seconds to come on. Okay, that's one. Other one.
Power on.
Now you notice it has a voice by default. This one I actually turned off the voice, but there is a voice command by default. So if you're visually impaired or you know somebody who's blind, I know a few hams who are blind who use radios, who appreciate radios with voice capability, and this one definitely is good for that. Also, if you keep the radio on your belt and use a speaker mic, you can definitely change it. You can definitely have access to all the functions via voice. Now, one thing I noticed is that the screen timeout on this radio is definitely set to 10 seconds by default. You can change that. And also it's locked. So first thing to do is unlock it. You hold down the center button. You press it once to do the display, and then you unlock it. And then you can go into the menu.
Channel, mode,
and
code, power, squelch, receive, mode, light.
Okay, backlight. Okay. So I changed the backlight to
enter
30 seconds. Now this will take a toll on your battery life. You don't want to, it's up to you.
Mode, receive, squelch, power,
And
code, channel, formatting, busy, lock, key, set, transmit,
and
DOT,
yeah, voice.
set,
Okay. Next thing is I'm going to turn this annoying voice off because I don't need it.
on, off,
Bye bye. You're gone. Okay. You can turn the beep off too if you don't like beeps. Sometimes I like to operate in stealth mode sometimes. You can change the LCD color. You can change it to black, red. Red's kind of nice if you're finding it. I don't know, green. Easy to find in the woods or something. I'll change it back to black. Okay. And you have the various standby modes, the digital standby, like I mentioned in the user manual earlier. Receive, save time. So this basically is the time between receiving a signal and basically turning that off. This will help you save battery. So you can basically have it 1 on to 8 off, or 1 on to 4 off, where it will save the battery by receiving less. Okay. Change your squelch. So the concept of squelch, as you know, is to mute the audio when it does not detect a signal. And you have different squelch levels. Fairly standard feature. They have these on pretty much all two-way radios now. Turn off squelch and the thing is basically open. Now the reason you don't hear anything is because this has digitally coded squelch. So, all right. Now let me turn that back on. Okay. I'll change it back to 5. Okay. The reason you need squelch is because you don't want to be hearing white noise all the time. Transmit power, low. This is another battery saving feature. If you're on low power, if you're nearby, you don't really need high power. If you're transmitting long distance, you need higher power. So I could change it to high power, right? And now, as I mentioned in the user manual, some of these channels are by default high power. Okay. Another important function is the channel mode. You can set the channel mode to display the channel numbers by default. Like you press there, and then you can change it to, change it to channel. So it'll show the channel numbers. It will not show the frequency. I guess if you're giving it to somebody who just doesn't care about frequencies, or you don't want them to care about frequencies, just leave it on channel. Or I just leave it on the. I leave it on the memory mode here. All right. Okay. You could do a full reset of the radio. You can turn the NOAA weather radio on, and then you have different modes. You have compact, You can turn the compounder on and off. You can turn the busy lock on and off. Auto lock on, so when the radio is on standby, it'll lock keypad. Probably useful, you know, if you're like using this radio and you don't want it to change anything. Okay. Programmable function, NOAA. So I guess this, let's see here, the programmable function key, right? Well, let's see here. Second PTT. Vox, scan, or off. Okay, you could change the function of it. Let's see here. You have a Roger beep. You can have a Roger beep, right? And it will do a Roger beep. Timeout timer, 180 seconds. So basically, what you do is when you're talking, after 180 seconds, it will shut the transmitter off. So this is in case you have this radio in a car or something and you sit on it and you keep transmitting. People are not going to be hearing you for more than 180 seconds. Especially useful if you're within range of a GMRS repeater. Okay? All right. So let's see here. Voice, beep, LCD colors, backlight, digital standby, receive, save. Okay. And let's see here. So you can actually, so now this is in digitally coded squelch mode. You can actually change the digital code here. You just go to this menu option and you change it per the table we referenced earlier, right? Now, like I said, a lot of these are pre-programmed in. So if you just want to do a really simple operation of this radio, all you really need to do is turn it on, right? And you have another radio. You turn it on. And you just set the same channels, and it'll have the same tone squelch and everything. This one locked. Okay? So you just set the same channels, you set the same tone squelch. It will automatically be together. It will automatically work. So I can do this now. WRNY 816. Right? And it automatically got me there. So WRNY 816 testing. Right, and see, easy peasy. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we're doing with this radio. Why don't we do a quick test? I'm gonna have probably one of the kids go and talk on the radio, and then they can probably hear me. Okay. Coming up next. All right, so I'm going to do an outdoor test on this now. I'm actually walking around here. Let's see. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk outdoors and give a test here, okay? We're probably about 50 feet away, which is not much. All right, you should still be able to hear me, right?
Heard you loud and clear.
See, she heard me. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see here. Walking around. Here, it's a nice, cool autumn day, I would say. Yeah. How about now? Can you hear me still?
I still hear you. Loud and clear.
See, very loud and clear. Okay. And the speaker is nice and clear too. Okay. Still a ways down the road. How about now? WRNY 816-2. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. I can still hear you.
And she has full bars on me. Okay. Walking around. Yeah, so, you guys need to watch the live streams. We do a lot of interesting tech topics and such on that. So, live streams been getting some good response. Let me know if there's any other kind of videos that you want to hear. Here, we're about a quarter mile away and just walking down the street and see here. Okay, passing all these bushes and trees still in full bloom. Okay, can you hear me still?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, still got full signal bars on it. Pretty good. Still going. It's like the funny. See people with their Halloween decorations now. It's kind of fun. Watch them all Halloweened out. Right? So we have all the pine needles falling and such. So take a walk here. I think to do a full range test, I'm gonna have to drive somewhere, but this nice little walk close to the store should be fine. So I think, this will be good. Like if you have people at home and you don't have a cell phone for them, you can always use a radio, or I know the Jeep guys like to use the Jeeple, but I'm not one of them. All right. Okay, this is almost by ShopRite. Can you hear me now?
I could hear you still, loud and clear.
Right. Okay, so you're starting to fade out a little bit, but that's expected. So yes.
Alright. Fading at all, I can still hear you nice and loud.
Yes, it starts to fade around here. You find that as you reach further distance, it tends to be affected by objects. She's indoors, actually. If she was outdoors, it would be better. Okay, so here we have the 17P. I'm going to do a longer distance range test in another video, but this is it for now. As always, links in the description, and keep on hamming, keep on radioing. If you want to see any other radios, let me know what you want to see, right? And if you know of a good radio you'd like to have me try out, why don't you tell them to send me one? And I'll definitely try to do my best. See you around.